All right. So,
Welcome everybody to Welcome to League Sports Show and Podcast. What's up?
what's up? This is Ezra. And
This is Beanie.
We are here to talk about a few things today.
Yes.
And first thing is
breaking news.
Breaking news. Let's see. Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther.
Pending
a
physical.
Pending a physical. So, what I gathered from some of the articles that I read, of course, the money was split, and I think there was a conditional fifth that could turn into a fourth round pick.
Which was surprising.
What, 2024?
Yes.
Okay.
Which was surprising. They did not trade away the quarterback.
Yeah.
They kept Sam Darnold. So now you have Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield fighting for the starting job.
And I did not know or didn't realize that Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Rosen were all taken in the same draft.
No.
Is that right?
Sounds about right.
I think they were in the same draft. So if that's the case,
no, half of them's not even playing anymore.
If all of them were taken in the same draft, and I really need to do an episode on Josh Rosen. I feel like Josh Rosen got like the worst of the whole situation.
Yeah.
The worst situation. He went into what looked like was going to be a really good situation, which this is not what the podcast is about or this episode is about, but Josh Rosen is just like one of those guys that I just felt like got a really bad deal, really bad break. He got drafted first round by the Arizona Cardinals, and then the following year he gets traded away, and they pick up.
Didn't they draft Kyler?
Yeah, that was the year they got Kyler Murray next year, and
the toddler.
The toddler.
The toddler Kyler Murray. Just kidding. I love Kyler Murray.
No,
he's awesome.
He's not. So either way, I just really believe he got a really raw deal out of that group. But that's a really big group of quarterbacks to look at. You know, Lamar's a superstar for real.
Yeah.
He's been
comeback MVP player of the year this year.
And MVP. Don't forget his MVP year. He's been on the cover of Madden. Josh Allen is boasting one of the best teams in the NFL. If I'm not mistaken, ESPN rated the Buffalo Bills with the number one roster, top five roster. They were number one. The Rams were number 4. So I'm not mad at that. You know,
this is no pressure.
If I'm not mistaken, the Chargers were 3. So that's, the Bills were first.
They put KC number 2, then they messed that whole order up.
No. I think number 2 was Tampa. Tampa Bay. But I
can see that as the 4.
As soon as I see Tampa as one of the top 4, then I'm like, wait, everybody's coming back from injuries though. You know, they got a few people coming back from injuries. So how's that going to turn out? Then they don't have a Grunk at tight end, and Brake just didn't. You know, he's not doing anything for me at
I don't think. We'll talk about it in a fantasy episode, but I don't think Brake's going to be their tight end.
Yeah, so neither here nor there.
I think they got another tight end that nobody's even talking about right now.
Just going back to all of that, they have some like straight out superstar studs from this group of quarterbacks. And then you got Baker. Baker has taken one of the most horrid franchises since their reconception or reincarnation in, I think it was like 99, 2000 or 2000, 2001 season when the Browns came back. And he's been the most successful quarterback that they've had since, I mean, dude, things, because you look at what Brady Quinn, and I'm just naming 2 of my favorites out of that group was Tim Couch and Brady Quinn. I'm thinking with Couch and Quinn, they were about to rip it. And I'm like, no, they got ripped.
And you bring Baker, and Baker turns the whole culture around, and they turn around and say, bye-bye.
Yeah.
We don't need you no more.
Man.
Thanks for the playoff game. Goodbye. We'll need you, Baker.
So going into my conspiracy, because I know you got a couple of things that you want to talk about Baker. So I want to give a conspiracy theory here. So, there's the whole Deshaun Watson situation where Deshaun Watson is supposed to be the heir apparent as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
Now Baker's gone. But Deshaun Watson had his hearings last week with the NFL, and they got finished last Thursday. We're into a whole nother week, and there's not been any determination as to what Deshaun Watson's punishment will be for his character issues.
It's the rumored, and what everybody can circle back to from all the sources, is saying at least a year.
Okay, so at least a year.
At least a year.
So with that being said, now you don't have Baker Mayfield there. And I think it's Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, you got Jacoby Brissett's going to be starting for Cleveland.
And Jacoby Brissett, by any stretch, is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's a good game manager.
So
that's about all he's good for.
And I don't think he's
like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll get you there. The situation's a little bit better.
Wait a minute, man. You can't put all that. Put that ill will on Fitzmagic like that.
It's tragic, depending on what week it is.
Fitzmagic. He's retired now. No, man, but he did great for when he needed. I mean, he wasn't like Nick Foles. He wasn't like Nick Foles and came in and won a Super Bowl behind somebody. But
Jacoby Brissett, if you can compare him to anybody, it's going to be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, where he's okay in certain situations.
Fitz tragic. That's terrible.
Fitz tragic. Yes, I said it.
Wow, haters. So here's my conspiracy theory. My theory is that they've not given a determination on Deshaun Watson because the NFL was already aware of what was about to transpire between Cleveland and Carolina. And I mean, everybody was anyway, but nobody was really thinking it was going to happen like anytime soon. It was going to eventually happen. Carolina was probably the front runner, but then you had
Carolina
other teams,
and Seattle were in the mix.
But Seattle, of course, Seattle.
I don't think Seattle was ever really in the mix.
Yeah, I think they were, but they might not have been. But
Seattle's pretty keen on OL this year.
Anybody with a good mindset for what they do, and I want to say all these people who are general managers and over player personnel and all this other stuff in the NFL are smart geniuses and things of that nature, regardless of what we think about them hiring a quarterback that may not be there for 1 or 2 seasons. All of these guys are smart, and I'm pretty sure that everybody would do their due diligence, but I really and truly believe that there wasn't a determination given on Deshaun Watson situation because the NFL was already abreast of what they were about to do with this trade, and they were just waiting on the whole money situation, because the money situation was the biggest thing because of the contract that he had just gotten from Cleveland, and being able to hold all that money, being able to pay all that money and not be able to take care of your team is a big burden that you have to look at. Am I willing to carry that? Because you look at the Rams, who got rid of Todd Gurley and carried all the dead money up until I think this past season was the last season, or this season is the last season of dead money. Then you look at Jared Goff. This season is the last season of dead money, if I'm not mistaken, for Jared Goff as well. So you look at them, and I think there's a couple of other teams where you have players that, the Saints carrying, let's see, Drew Brees is going into his second season of retirement.
And getting paid.
And still getting paid.
I think this is his last season getting paid, though.
Who else is still getting? No, I think Drew has got one more year.
One more year getting paid,
yeah, because you're looking at the Saints being $50 million plus in the red next year after this season. Yeah. It's rough. Right now the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, because they're coming out, they're like $5 million or less over the cap for next year. Based off of if the cap stays the same, it's going to increase, but
Yeah.
Really not sure where they're going to be. But either way, I just really believe on the conspiracy side of it is that they didn't give a determination because they were already aware that Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns were about to make this trade happen with Baker. Whether the two sides, the players knew or not, the teams knew. So I would most definitely say the players had to have known, and just of course being quiet. And Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't be anything but quiet right now with all the things that's going on.
Yeah. Well, he's got 4 more cases to settle, and then the hearing with the NFL, and then we should have a determination within the next week or two of the year suspension of Deshaun Watson.
Which takes me into to the last thing. What type of uproar do you believe that there would be with the NFL if Deshaun Watson only gets a year max or is able to come back before the season is over with? When you have Calvin Ridley, who was gambling, bless his heart, who was gambling, and he, with no issue, I mean, I'm talking about quick determination. Boom, you got a year. You don't take money from us when we give money to you.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts
regarding the Deshaun Watson suspension situation? When it first come out, before
as it pertains to how much time he should get.
Yeah.
Between the two.
Well, I think a year minimum is what happens. If he comes, I think a year minimum is. Honestly, I was 100% fine. This was just with them being banned for life, but I knew that wasn't going to happen because they had determined that they were going to ban him for life. But NFL don't ever ban anybody for life. If they do, they ban him for a season, then they bring him back. Life's over. But if he comes back before the end of the season, fantasy owners would be happy. Cleveland fans would be happy.
Dynasty fans
would be happy. But the fan base itself, people who watch it for watching football, especially the female audience, I think there's going to be a lot of issues. So I think they're going to give him the year, at least a year.
Yeah, I think they give him a year plus first 4 games of the following season.
Well,
of the next season.
They could do that, or they could do a year, and since he got this big old contract, the Cleveland was smart when they gave him this contract.
Oh, man. Like I said,
because Cleveland Cleveland smart when they gave him this contract. Yeah, it's worth X million dollars, but that first year, because Cleveland knew he was going to be suspended, it's like minimum quarterback pay.
Well, I mean, and I get it.
So they got 2 options. They could either suspend him into the next season for like 2 or 4 games, or they can fine him $500,000.
$500,000.
Maybe $1 million.
$500,000 is nothing for what he got. $1 bill's nothing for what he just got.
Maybe $1 million. They can fine him for that.
Okay, so let me ask this. All right, so I talked about the conspiracy side of it. What type of an effect does Baker and Deshaun have on fantasy drafts, fantasy leagues, and on dynasty leagues? Because on a dynasty league, he gets suspended, and you tell me if I'm wrong. In dynasty league, he gets suspended. You can put him on IR, and you can let him sit for a year.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a different situation when it comes to fantasy. So just discuss that for a second.
I don't think in dynasty. Baker might have climbed up a little bit more. Deshaun in Dynasty, wherever he's being drafted at now, I do not know. I think he was drafted in our league when we did our Dynasty startup. He was drafted in round 5 or 6.
Okay.
Which is probably the average spot where he's going to stay going. Because like you said, you can just throw him on a bench. He'll be there eventually. He's going to come back.
Right.
So if you have a designated suspension spot or IR spot, have him. In redraft, which is drafting every year, I think Deshaun Watson doesn't get drafted at all in redraft.
Is this dynasty or is this you talking about dynasty or fantasy or both?
Well, both. Okay. In dynasty, you still draft him where you draft him at because Deshaun will eventually be available, and Baker maybe climbs up a little bit more because he goes to a really good situation in Carolina.
Got you. Yeah. Because I was just looking at BR Bleacher Report. That's like one of my favorite apps to watch, or to look at, read articles, catch videos, whichever, highlights and get news and things of that nature. And I don't mind saying what I like watching. And anybody that listens to me knows that I'm not one of those people like, I'm not going to mention their name because we don't get any type of, they don't have any affiliation with me. I don't have any affiliation with them, but it's just a really cool platform to get news from, especially when football season starts and they do Gridiron Heights. Dude, if you've never watched it, I love it. But one of the articles I was watching was the offensive line that they have, and where they beefed up the line. They have a second year guard.
Who, Carolina?
They have a second year guard. They have a first year, if I'm not mistaken, tackle that they just drafted this year.
Yeah.
They have I want to say it was Austin Corbett that they just got from the Rams. They have two more players that they brought in, I think, last year. So they look to have a pretty good offensive line, which also helps a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
That's what I was getting at. The Baker still sitting on fantasy. The Baker Mayfield to Carolina fantasy wise, CMC, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and whoever else is on that roster that we don't know of because their names aren't household names, just got a massive, no offense, massive upgrade from Sam Darnold.
I'm not offended.
Anybody. I mean,
for Sam Darnold, I think Sam Darnold, unfortunately, he went to a Jets team that did not have adequate management at the time that he was drafted, which has gotten better since he's been gone.
Exactly.
Because I think Jets, man, they have a hard division to play in, but
at least they got it figured out now.
Yeah, I think they are figuring it out. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that Carolina kept Sam Darnold, did not trade him, which doesn't mean that they won't.
No, and that puts 4 quarterbacks on Carolina's roster.
So who's the other two? Because
all right, you got Sam and Baker.
Right.
They're gonna be fighting for the starting job.
So they the turntable quarterbacks. They the ones and twos.
Yeah.
So interchangeable, which I think Baker's gonna be the number one. I don't think they're bringing him in to pay him what he's going to be paid because they're still going to be paying him. If I'm not mistaken,
they got to give him a new contract. They're going to give him because I think he's still on his rookie deal.
Not necessarily.
They're going to give him. They're not going to give him a huge contract.
No, because I thought he got. I thought
he's still on his rookie deal. I don't think he got paid yet.
I thought he got paid a newer contract.
He might have. Look it up.
Extension outside of his rookie deal because he outplayed it. And then they decided to go to Deshaun Watson route. But either way, so you got Sam Darnold, you have Baker Mayfield, and who else do you have? The
quarterback they just drafted this season, Matt Corral.
That's right.
From Ole Miss.
But he gets to sit back, though.
He gets to sit behind Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. And they have P.J. Walker, which they're probably going to cut.
Yeah, because they're not going to get rid of Corral.
But they're not going to get rid of Corral, and they're probably not going to cut Darnold for the simple fact that you need a quality backfield. Because let's face it,
I mean, no, I wouldn't.
Anybody, if you're a Carolina fan, anybody wants Baker to start over Sam Darnold.
Because Sam, on the other hand, is still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he would get if he should be like right at his 5th year option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he may be at his 5th year option. So they have it set.
Okay, so that's how they got to. Okay, cool.
At the quarterback position. So I get that. So how does this change the landscape of the NFC South? Because you see, we don't have Matt Ryan anymore.
No,
Matt Ryan's gone. You're looking at Desmond Ridder as the.
Desmond Ridder probably won't start. It's probably going to be Marcus Mariota.
Mariota may start, but they're gonna. I guarantee you, Ridder will be in there by week 6, between week 6 and 10.
possible. You don't draft a quarterback that high and not want him to play.
Yeah, I mean, I just see Ritter coming in there between week 6 and 10, and then depending on the chemistry that Ritter and what's my tight end with Atlanta, my tight end,
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Pitts. If they get good chemistry with each other, because I don't know, I think this year's offensive player of the year might be a tight end, dude. Especially if it's on the NFC.
Well, we know
side.
who the MVP is going to be.
Especially on the NFC side.
The MVP is always the quarterback.
Right. That should not be. Either way. So how does that affect? You got Atlanta, then you have Tampa, no Grunt, but you still got the go.
You got Brady, and you got New Orleans.
You got New Orleans. Oh man, I've been saying this all off season, even before did I not call it that New Orleans needs to get Landry as a wide receiver? They went and got him. Then what else was it? I already said that New Orleans was not a rebuilding team.
No, they're gonna.
And as much as I'm a Rams fan to my heart, I will not snake on any other team, but I just really believe that the Saints have the opportunity to win the South, the NFC South.
That's what I was going to say.
I think it's like truly legitimate.
I think honestly, it's a flip of a coin when it comes to Atlanta. Tampa Bay and New Orleans winning the South.
But with Baker Mayfield now there, and the energy and everything that he brings in that respect,
there's a chance. Carolina has a decent team. There's a chance that they could scare a couple NFC. They could scare the Saints into Tampa Bay. Even with the addition of Baker, and I don't know if I'm going to get hate mail or whatever. Even with the addition,
you don't have a mailbox. Oh, go ahead, my bad.
Even with the addition of Baker, I do not think that makes Carolina a deep playoff team.
Okay.
I see that Carolina can have a winning record. They might split the Bucks. I don't think they're splitting the Saints. And they might finish third in the South.
Okay.
I don't think Carolina is going to be a playoff team with the addition of Baker. Just because, and I'll give you this season. 2 reasons. Maybe next season, sorry. 2 reasons why I don't think they're going to be a playoff contender and an NFC South or South contender as far as who's going to win it. 2 reasons. The Saints defense and Tampa Bay's defense. Those are the only 2 reasons I got to give you.
Okay. I can roll with that. But
the defense is, them 2 defenses are still good.
I was going to say, Carolina's defense wasn't bad. It's just the offense couldn't keep them off the field.
Yes, I think the NFC South is not going to be a lot of. You would think with all the firepower in the South, with Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield now, with wide receivers like Landry and Chris Olave come in, and then we know Brady's got Evans and Godwin's going to be healthy, and like I said, I've already named them. Carolina's got DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Okay. All the firepower, and not to mention the running backs, all the firepower in the South, I think the South's going to have a lot of low-scoring games. Well, because of the defenses. There's a lot of firepower in the South.
Wait.
Running backs and all wide receivers, but I don't think they're going to be a lot of high-scoring games.
So basically you're saying they're either going to be really low-scoring because of the quality of defenses, or they're going to be so lopsided because of
the quality of offenses.
The quality of defenses.
Yeah, pretty much. It comes down to defense. Because, think about it. You got 3 of the best running backs, CMC, Kamara, and...
Wait, stop it.
Fournette.
You stop saying best running backs and you say CMC. You have to say CMC with an asterisk. A healthy
CMC.
Right. Come on, man.
You got 3 really good running backs in the South. Or can be really good running backs.
And you also have to remember how many games is Alvin Kamara going to miss?
That is what I'm waiting for.
So, I think
once we get to, and that's, we're going to be wrapping this up soon. I think once we get the decision on Deshaun Watson will get the decision on Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
So
And
now that affects the South a lot too, because if he's out for more than 4 games, it falls on Jameis
but
and the wide receivers.
but wasn't there a situation within those first 6 games that they played that Alvin Kamara wasn't there last year,
Yeah,
and they went 5-1
this is true.
before James got injured?
This
Or
is true.
yeah, so I don't think the run game will be in as much danger as possible. I mean, as we think, again, because they're in the South, and again because the teams, they're either secondary heavy. Let me say it like this: I believe that the Saints defense in the South is the most balanced and the most lethal
Yes,
of the defenses in the
I
NFC
agree.
South.
I think the Bucks have a better defensive line.
Yeah, I don't. Well, they don't have Sue either.
Yeah, I forgot they didn't bring
They
him
don't
back
have
yet.
Sue back, so their
Maybe
defensive line may not be
maybe
as.
they're
You see what I'm saying? So again, and this is the reason why I hearken to what I was talking about earlier about or went back to the top 5 teams, the top 5 rosters in Tampa Bay being there. There's a whole lot of things missing, and if they got added as the number 2, like this one podcaster, he had a problem with the Chargers being number 4 or number 3 on the list. I actually don't have a problem with the Chargers being number 3 on the list because they have adequate run game, they have adequate
yeah, they're
receivers,
well rounded.
they have the pickup of Khalil Mack to add to I think it was Joey Bosa
Yeah,
on defense. So yeah, no, I don't have a problem with them. I think they could either be number 3 where they are, they could be number 2. But or the Rams could have been number 2 or number 3 or number 4 where they are. I think as long as they're in the top 5 conversation, they're fine. But you look at Tampa Bay and their roster, you got people coming back from injuries. You have players that did not come back. And I understand everybody talks about the Rams and Von Miller not coming back, but Von Miller got there when the Rams were 7-1.
Von Miller didn't carry that team though.
Von Miller, and I understand his effect on the team, but we already know
That's
anybody that plays with Aaron Donald,
Yeah,
anybody that has played. Clay Matthew came, he had a 10-sack season, left, went somewhere else.
got paid.
Who's that? My dude that came from Jacksonville.
Oh,
Not Leonard Floyd.
Malik Jackson?
No,
Something like that?
Dante Fowler.
Dante Fowler.
Dante Fowler. I think he came from Jacksonville too. Dante Fowler came. He had awesome season. Left and went to Atlanta. What did he do? I think he got 2.5, 4.5 sacks that following year, and then the next year he got released. Yeah, so neither here nor there. Vaughn was assisted as well because there was no pressure coming from the middle because you got Aaron Donald taking double and triple teams.
So if you're a D end or a D tackle, just go to the Rams and have a 10-sack season, get paid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an edge rusher and you got Aaron Donald on the other side of you do your thing. But I think with the whole NFC South division, Baker Mayfield, I think, still causes a little bit of a tidal wave or a ripple to the extent of where they may split a game. I think Atlanta gets pushed all the way to the bottom, of course. At this particular point, they were probably already at the bottom with everybody else's.
They were at the bottom. Sam Darnold was the starting quarterback of Carolina.
But I think Baker pushes Carolina up a notch.
Does it push them to second, or does it push to keep them at third?
Oh
in your
no,
opinion?
it keeps them at third.
Because it keeps them at third, in my opinion.
I mean, even with everything that I just said about Tampa Bay, the NFC South still is what it is. With
the
that
NFC South.
But look, so we're gonna get ready to cut this off. We want everybody to know that we thank you, appreciate you guys for coming on, watching WTTL,
or listening
and
to it.
Keep listening and keep following. Catch us on Instagram, Facebook, and on Spotify,
anywhere you get your podcast.
And do that, man. We'll love and appreciate you guys. God bless y'all. Keep y'all family safe. I'm Ezra.
I'm Beanie, and until next time, deuces.
Deuces. Peace.